Hello, everyone. Scott Schwartz, nevertoomuchmoney.com. Here to talk to you one more time about health insurance with the Obamacare annual enrollment period being open. Yesterday, talked about why health insurance is so expensive, and I'm going to tell you today about an approach that is the least expensive way to approach getting health insurance. And it's up to you to decide if this is the right approach for you. It will not be in all cases, but for about 5 out of every 6 people, this is a practical and least expensive way to go about with their health insurance, and in fact get more benefit than they would otherwise. And it connects to what I talked about yesterday about how people expect their health insurance to cover everything, including what we would call routine maintenance of our health, in comparing it to other forms of insurance. So now, what I'm going to tell you about is the proper approach, and what this is based on is where do most of the health insurance claims costs go to. 16% of the time it is to cover accidents, okay? And then 2/3 of the time, 67% of those costs are absorbed by chronic illness, things such as heart attack, cancer, that sort of thing. So let's add those two numbers together. 16 plus 67% is 83%, which is 5/6. 5 out of every 6 people. What they can do is, rather than use their health insurance to cover claims of those two natures, accidents, critical illness, we can get an accident insurance policy. We can get chronic insurance coverage, and that provides more benefit for those specific claims, more so than your health insurance that tries to be all things to all people and cover even the routine maintenance. Knowing that, then we can really dial down the benefits of the health insurance we choose. We can dial up the deductible for the health insurance we choose and feel confident in doing so, because 5/6 of the time we have better coverage and far less expensive coverage via this other coverage, another plan relative to health insurance. The numbers show that in many cases you get twice the health insurance benefit in that way at half the cost. So for 5 out of every 6 people to get twice the benefit at half the cost. Now, if you have a health condition that does not fall in the category of chronic, but it does mean that you see a doctor regularly, it does increase your risk, then maybe that approach is not for you. You would, of course, want to consider your own circumstances and not the average. Maybe you're in the 1/6 and not the 5/6. That is your determined to make. But I definitely wanted to share with you this simple approach with regards accident coverage, critical illness coverage, that is not tied into routine maintenance, that pays only when it's needed in those circumstances. So you're not running up the risk for the insurance company. If you'd like quotes, if you'd like information on that approach and specifics as it applies to you, by all means, let me know. Contact me, Scott at nevertoomuchmoney.com. I have my website posted right below this video, and I'd be glad to help you walk through that approach. In fact, just one more thing I meant to mention earlier, I ran those numbers on myself. The difference between the top level coverage with a $0 deductible, gold coverage, and bronze coverage with a higher deductible, rather catastrophic coverage, was $480 a month. So well over $5,000 a year cost difference. And that is for one person. If you're looking for a family, say a family of 4, 5, 6, then the savings gets much more significant. So I'm talking real numbers here. Let's talk and see what fits the best for you. Scott Schwartz, nevertoomuchmoney.com. Have a great weekend, everyone.